They met in the 2013 Grand Final at Old Trafford, and many good judges are saying they could be there again in 2016. Is this the year that Warrington's 61-year-old title drought finally comes to an end? They were beaten at rock bottom Huddersfield 2 weeks ago, and coach Tony Smith asked for a response from his players. Well, he got it in bucket loads. Stefan Ratchford grabbing 2 tries in a first win at Widnes in 4 years. Wigan, meanwhile, despite trailing at half-time, beat Huddersfield to maintain the pressure on the Wolves at the top. It was a late show from the Warriors, though, with victory only assured after Dan Sargenson's last-minute try. Will Wigan get the jump on Warrington here and hit the top again? Well, they met as recently as April the 1st, and Warrington won at the DW Stadium to maintain their quest of only their second table-topping finish in 21 Super League seasons. But Wigan's worst injury crisis in the summer era hasn't stopped them keeping pace, and they will go above the Wolves if they claim only their 4th ever win on this ground. The team news is that Warrington have the former Wigan youngster Matty Russell at full-back. And Tom Lynham is back in the side, having been left out in the past 2 games, despite being the Wolves' joint top scorer with 10 tries so far. Up front, milestones. First for Chris Hill. It's the skipper's 60th consecutive appearance in the blood and thunder of the pack. Behind him, Ben Curry, also on 10 tries for the season, by the way. He makes his 100th Warrington appearance. And on the bench, Jordan Cox returned to the 17 at Widnes last week. He'd missed the previous 2, and both against St Helens and Huddersfield were defeats. Now look at the Wigan jersey numbers, and it's obvious they're missing some stars. Anthony Gelling, though, has been a thorn in the side for Warrington, scoring tries in at least 1 meeting in each of the last 3 years. Matty Smith's making his 46th consecutive Wigan appearance, a try, 4 goals and 2 drop goals last week in the win against Huddersfield. There's no Ben Flower in the forwards, he was injured last week, so Tony Clubb steps up off the bench, and John Bateman captained the side for the first time last week, and he scored a crucial try. Better news for Wigan comes on the substitutes bench. George Williams eases his way back to action, having missed the last 8 games. So Warrington, they're aiming for the win that will take them 2 points clear of the field at the top, in the week that Tony Smith has signed a new 2-year deal. They're on target for a second table-topping season in Super League in the 21-year history of the competition. The big question, though, is can they claim that first championship since 1955? Well, Wigan have performed a minor miracle to remain level on points with Warrington. They lack 7 first-teamers here. Among the absentees, for instance, the captain, their first-choice back row, their top try scorer in Dom Manfredi. The best youth system in the game is being tested to the limit in 2016. As always, when Warrington and Wigan tangle, there is a big crowd inside the Halliwell Jones Stadium. It is an eagerly anticipated fixture, this. It's a cracking Super League Thursday, and Steve-O, we are all looking forward to what's to come.
Yes, Eddie, and I must say it is a pleasure because the rain, it was a downpour for about 2 hours before we got to this stadium, but thankfully the blue skies, the cloud seem to be disappearing, because as I was driving over the Pennines, I just thought to myself that wouldn't it have been a shame? You look through the list, some of the wonderful, wonderful players on display tonight, and you say to yourself, it's a shame, because it would have been just ruined. I mean, we had hailstones about half an hour ago, but now hopefully we can get the situation, and boy, they've said Wigan having all their problems, but Warrington will not be worried about that. Sam Tompkins obviously still not fully fit. But the 2 that I want to watch tonight, the Warrington second row of Ben Curry and Wigan's John Bateman. Boy, sparks will fly over those 2, that's for sure.
Yes, they're in fine form, the 2 young forwards. Curry, 21, an Irish international, an ex-England Academy international, and a former England knight. And Chris Sandow there in the stand. We got a glimpse, as Steve-O referred to, Sam Tompkins and his brother Joel alongside him. And Chris Sandow missing. He's missed the last 3 weeks since being injured. And, well, he is out for a wee while yet. Sean Wayne was desperate to have his first-choice team out on April the 1st when Warrington travelled to the DW Stadium. wished he could have had his first team on duty. He wishes the same again here tonight. But there are so many injuries. But write the Wigan Warriors off at your peril. They are doing just enough to win their games. The first 4 victories were by a margin of 6 points or less. They've only scored 42 tries so far in 12 rounds. Tonight could be the night they hit the straps. The big opposition of Warrington might well bring the best out of them. Phil Bentham is the man in the middle. We're just about ready to go. Should be a belter.
Yeah, we always look forward to these clashes, and I must say that, you know, Warrington, when they lost Sandow, a lot of people, including myself, thought, will that be the end? I mean, they've had a tremendous start of the Warrington Wolves, but the combination of Stefan Ratchford and Kurt Gidley seems to have, well, let's say they've got into the swing of things. You always realise that your halfbacks, and of course the biggest problem perhaps for Wigan is the youngster Nick Gregson and Matty Smith. Of course, the kicking game will be so important.
Got underway. Stefan Ratchford with a deep kick-off. Here's the first drive from the big forwards. That's Lee Mossop taking the first hit from the Warrington forwards. And it was Ashton Sims in there pretty quickly, and also Jack Hughes. Early moments of the match, so important. The two sides will feel each other out. Tony Clubb will take it forward now, and the ball comes out. It went backwards though, so play on, says the referee.
Oh, very fortunate indeed there. Looks as though Tony Clubb lost control.
They've lost control there, that is for sure. Ryan Sutton couldn't hold on under a ferocious challenge, and Ryan Atkins picks it up.
Eddie, it's going to be a brutal game. They always are when you Warrington play against Wigan. Players flying out the line, so much emotion on show, but players getting underneath the ball carrier, hitting underneath the ball and dislodging it.
And that's exactly what Wigan have done to Warrington. They immediately have the ball back. Just a little sideline, by the way, in that challenge earlier on. Darryl Clark is holding his arm and his elbow, but the physio on very quickly. They've just given the thumbs up sign to the coach on the sideline. Looks like Clark is able to carry on, but he's certainly feeling something, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you can see the right elbow is strapped very, very heavily indeed. But you said about the weather, a couple of hours it's been a downpour, and obviously that this turf is going to be a little bit slippy.
Yeah, it's a bit greasy. We've had 4 seasons in an hour, really. We've had thunder and lightning, we've had hailstones, we've had bright sunshine, and now we've got a touch of cloud. So they are pretty experienced, the Super League players, in these conditions. Kevin Penny feels that well, and he's dragged to the floor by Willie Isa.
Oh, he didn't miss him either.
Oh, and it's a knock on, is it, by Kevin Penny?
Well, he just lost control. It was a beautiful take. He went high, took the ball, and then just lost control of it.
Did it not go backwards though? Kevin Penny cops one from Willie Isa. There's a bit of a shove, and Gildout trying to push him behind the line. He drops that, but
yeah,
the tackle's complete before that, so
yeah,
the knock-on's correct, and we got a scrum.
Yes, 10 metres away from the Warrington line.
Well, it's all action go, and it's what we expected, that is for sure.
Anthony Gelling will drive the ball forward. He's having a great season, the Cook Island international. It's his 80th Wigan appearance tonight. Here is Sutton again, who made that early error, but Wigan atoned for that. They got the ball back pretty quickly, and they forced the error from Kevin Penny on his own line. That was Sam Powell. Matty Smith hands the pass away. Nick Gregson, no, and it's offside against the Warrington Wolves. Too quick off their own line.
Yeah, well, Rhys Evans came in on the angle. It was a huge gamble.
Time off.
He made contact, but it looks as though he's picked up a bit of a knock as well.
Steve, I think if he didn't come in to close that play down, they could have been caught on that left edge, on Wigan's left edge, and maybe conceded the first try. But Rhys Evans, when he spots this, he goes in, hits Gregson really hard along with Kurt Gidley.
Well, it's come off second best, it appears.
Well, he was injured, remember. He had a shoulder injury in the match against Wigan in April, on April the 1st. It looks like there's a problem with the right arm again. Remember also a shoulder injury in the World Club Series last year, 2015, curtailed Rhys Evans's season. But the Welsh international tonight making his 70th appearance. They're checking him out, obviously.
They look like they're just checking the stability of the shoulder, doing a few rotations, making sure it's in the socket.
Not out the socket, looks very painful.
I think he's got the negative on this one. I think he might have to leave the field.
Well, they're checking him out. 3-7s, 3 times a Welsh international. He's only 23 years of age. From the Burtonwood Bulldogs amateur club here in Warrington. That Terry and I know very well. We were at about the 25th annual sports forum there on Monday night. Terry's got a few stories he might tell us. Here is Tony Clubb now, will drive it in.
Well, obviously Wigan should be pinpointing the injured Rhys Evans. They should go on that left-hand side. What will we see from Powell?
Powell at dummy half gives it to Matty Smith. It's incessant Wigan pressure at the moment. Ryan Sutton will drive it in now for the Warriors. Right underneath those Warrington sticks. It's with Smith again. Back it comes to Sargentson. Sargentson then to Gelling. Good hands, but then Charnley puts it down.
Sean Wayne didn't like it.
3.5 minutes, Steve-O. Errors all over the shop.
Yeah, and we fully expected it. As I say, the ground looked very, very lush indeed, but it'll be holding quite a lot of water. It wasn't the best from Gelling. It was a no-look pass, and it was just dipping down. On a dry day, yeah, you'd probably say that he would get it, and not too happy.
Boys, let's make sure we're binding.
He looks very, very tense. Well, I've seen Sean Wayne over the many years, Eddie, but boy, he looks really, really wound up.
Well, he's the elder statesman of the Super League, is Sean. He won the double in 2013. He's guided Wigan to Old Trafford each of the last 3 seasons, and short priced again to take them back there in 2016 to face this Warrington Wolves side who are in fine form. But that's tremendous defence from Wigan, forcing former player Matty Russell back on his heels. Good run forward though there by Lynham, and here now is Darrell Clark. The Warrington supporters appealing to Phil Bentham to blow the whistle for offside. And Phil Bentham keeps the whistle for the moment in his pocket. Here comes Chris Hill now, the skipper for Warrington.
Interesting to see that Wigan, I was shouting out that on that left-hand side. You know, Rhys Evans had just had a really bad knock, and yet they didn't apply any pressure on him at all. They came the wrong way.
Great set of 6 defensively here from Wigan, and then it all comes to naught because Tony Clubb has a little push and a shove as the man was getting up to play the ball.
They've had a couple of good wins, and I think it all comes about Tom Lynham's first initial run. Then Chris Hill, they couldn't put him to ground, so what does Darrell Clark do? He goes off the back of that, trying to take him and trying to control him in the tackle, Tony Clubb, and just too much from the big fella. Big drop forward, isn't he, Tony Clubb? Wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, but that was silly to give away a penalty. You know, you get excited, yeah, of course. You know, you've got to pay for the facial like that. No point giving him a free one out there.
And it was on the last tackle as well. So Warrington now, having defended their line vigorously, are on the front foot in attack. And here is Ashton Sims.
Good job, Mossop. Just got the leg tap.
It was a very important flick. Here now is Westerman. Westerman taking on Clubb again, and Tony Clubb stands his ground, gets to his feet. Darrell Clark running laterally, gives the ball to Kurt Gidley. Gidley then to Jack Hughes, who finds Rhys Evans, and they muscle up on defence on Rhys Evans down the right-hand side.
Brilliant defence by Wigan. You could see no one came out of the line. They just anticipated what Warrington was going to throw at them.
Wigan turn Jack Hughes on his back. Willie Isa gets off. He plays the ball to Clark. This is Gidley. Gets the kick away. They're looking for where they found Westerman. He flicks the ball back to Ashton Sims.
Knock on,
says the referee, without reference upstairs. Brave decision, Stu.
Well, it was a call from the side as well. Phil Bentham was in agreement. He was in a good position. The video will tell us whether it's right or not, but he was very confident.
Yeah, you'd have to say that the positional play by the referee there was outstanding. Look at it there, right in front of the big fella.
Well, that looked on the first look from that angle that perhaps the ball had gone back. I just wonder what the video referee Ben Thaler would have made of it had it been handed upstairs. Let's have another look.
Well, I think it actually goes forward from where he touches it from. He actually jumps about another metre after he touches it, which makes it look as if it goes behind him. But I think it's the right decision.
Oof, what a hit on Ryan Sutton that was from Darrell Clark. Any doubts about that right shoulder, that right arm? Now dispelled. Up and under, old-fashioned style from Matty Smith. Flicked back by Sargentson through the legs. And the referee will order the turnover because nothing doing there. So Warrington will get the ball back.
Eddie, I mentioned very early in this game that the kicking game is going to be ever so important. You know, that wasn't the best, okay, either on attack or defence. Warrington stood back, wanted to see whether the ball was going to bounce, when really what it was wanting was one into the corner and just turn this Warrington outfit around.
Warrington tonight hoping to clinch a Super League double against Wigan. They won 28-16 at the DW Stadium the start of this month. They haven't won home and away against Wigan in Super League since 2012. History beckons for the Wolves tonight. Kurt Gidley looking for someone to run. Gives the ball then to Ashton Sims. He dumps it back to Darrell Clark. Clark will run, and Clark straightens it up. Goes down under the challenge on that far side. Importantly from Oliver Gildart. Here now is Gidley. Stabs the ball in towards the corner. We'll ask. Oh, it's a lovely swerve on the ball, that is. Gidley's kick finds touch just the right side of that corner post. Look at this.
And that's what separates Kurt Gidley from everybody else in the primrose and blue of the Warrington Wolves. He has the correct level of composure to understand and think to himself on the hoof. Look, we're a bit frenetic here. Both sides are completing at 60%, which is too low. I know Sean Wayne relies very heavily on set completions, likes it to be up above 80. Tony Smith not too much, but he'll recognise that both teams have been a little bit loose in the opening 10 or 15, in the opening 10 minutes.
And you could also tell, Eddie, that the experience there of Kurt Gidley. Remember, he took the ball across and not one of his players was running onto it. And he was laying down the law and said, listen, if I move across, I need someone to come back on the inside.
Bateman now for Wigan. Sims went to hunting.
It's ferocious out there.
Some big hits.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard one for Phil Bentham.
Good play by Jack Hughes. He smothered Matty Smith completely. Ryan Sutton again will take it up the middle. This young forward operating at loose forward tonight, and he's establishing himself in the Wigan pack this year. Matty Smith with a kick, and it'll skim off the ground. And wisely, Kevin Penny trapped it with the boot before turning the ball inside to Tommy Lynham.
Good work by Lynham as well. It's as you could tell, he reused the boot. It's always dangerous when you try to stoop down and pick it up.
Square markers, Wigan.
Here is Penny again, struggling to his feet. Gets there in the end, and Russell will take it forward. Formerly with Wigan, and Matty Russell knocks the ball on in the challenge.
There was big impact there. Was that a strip? It looks it to me. Looks as though Tony Clubb is the culprit. Yep. Right arm as far as I'm concerned. Not seen by the officials.
What's up, pal? Okay, we'll have to go with that one. We'll have to go with that.
Matty Russell just looking ruefully at our big screen. He made his debut against Widnes for Wigan in 2012. He got 2 tries on his debut from full-back, and the match in 2012 was won by Widnes, 37 points to 36. And I think that is the match that is depicted on a commemorative mug that the Widnes Vikings produced, and we have one in our office here.
2, move now, square.
What a mug!
Well, we've got a number of mugs, Steve.
Okay.
But we do have the cup that Widnes produced. Here is Sargentson, gets a glorious ball away to Gildart. Very important tackle by Tom Lynham.
Was it ever? Beautiful build up there, utilising the dummy runner and then going on the arc at speed.
Sutton again gets to his feet. Sam Powell gives it then to Matty Smith. Smith gives it to Bateman. And Bateman nowhere to go. That was good work by Chris Hill. Awful play the ball.
Got away with it.
Gregson, that was played at, and it's good work by Gidley. He's given it to Rhys Evans. Rhys Evans is grounded by 3, and with a little bit of help from Gidley as well. We can try to slow this play, the ball down. Oh, club on Lynham.
Tony Clubb, he came from 3 or 4 men out.
He's on a mission, Tony Clubb.
Got the shoulder right in.
That's what happens when you're coming off a slow play the ball.
And off a sideline as well, it says that's important.
Was it a clash of heads?
Yeah, I think it was. Slow motion to show you. Maybe just a touch.
Do you know, there's only one way to go when you're trapped near the sideline. You're coming off the back of 3 or 4 men, peeling away from the ruck. Tony Clubb, I said before, He just runs as hard as he can when he's carrying the ball, when he's tackling. He puts his body on the line.
There you go. Barry and Terry's biggest hits.
Yep.
That's a candidate.
Oh, he should be as well.
Whether it makes it is debatable.
I honestly don't feel that there was anything wrong. I don't think there was a shoulder charge because Club to me was square on to the player. If he'd have turned his body, maybe a hint. Watch this.
Yeah, Steve, he's attempting to wrap his left arm around him. You get your body in front. Wigan have always had aggressive line speed. You need some of your teammates pushing up, taking them options, and if someone's pushing up with Tom Lynham there, they might just take the focus away from Tony Clubb.
I don't know whether that was a grimace on the ferocity of the challenge, but anyway, whatever, from Sean Wayne. Tom Lynham leaves the field as a result of that. A legal hit on Tony Clubb, and for that reason, Steve-O, it will not make Barry and Terry's biggest hits.
Too true. If it's not above the shoulders, it never does.
Good defence from Wigan.
Yeah, it is, and they're up for it as well. And when you get a bloke like Tony Clubb, just pulling off a tackle like that, legal tackle with so much ferocity, boy, Warrington have had no time to move.
They're very quick out of the blocks tonight, Wigan, and the crowd's on the back of the referee. This is the last tackle. Oh, the ball has come free, and it was knocked out. It's a penalty to Warrington.
Well, he had the opportunity, perhaps the first for the Warrington Wolves. You can see Radford there, and he had the big fella.
Do you know, I don't think he did get that strip, but I thought I heard the referee, Phil Bentham, during the scrum of the last one from Matty Russell say, I'll give you that one, Matty. And that might be a little bit of squaring up.
Well, Phil Bentham hasn't seen when the ball came out on the first collision, when he hit the floor. He's only seen it later than that. He's got that one wrong.
Well, this is where the likes of Kirk Gidley and Stephen Ratchford, they'll be looking for the second phase runners. Is it going to be the fullback?
Great run from Chris Hill, clawed to the ground by Lee Mossop in the end. And Darrell Clark gives it to Gidley, space out wide. Gidley goes himself.
Can't get it down. That's great defence. Wonderful defence. He was trying to twist his body.
Relax.
They'll take it back 10 metres, and the tackle count will continue. Gidley will play the ball here to Darrell Clark. Pressure from Warrington on this Wigan line. Hill again, who's put Warrington in this position, and he's still going before he goes down. Turned over on his back as well. Mossop, last man off him. Clark will wait at dummy half. Will give the ball then to Gidley. Back on the inside to Westerman. And Westerman, he too is halted on the line.
Clark on his own, or will he put it?
Gives it to Gidley. Gidley will stab the kick in. Oh, and I think Charnley got a hand to that. Yeah, goal line dropout. Couldn't take the risk, Josh Charnley.
Tremendous work. Beautiful kick through by Gidley. This is one going very, very close. Boy, that's great defence. Talk about getting there in numbers, spinning him over.
And that's where you want him asking questions, isn't it, as well, Mike? You want him taking the line on, you want him running at the line, putting the ball on his toes. He come up with a brilliant kick because the ball just curled back into the field, which made Josh Charnley make a play for it.
Wigan in no hurry to take that goal line dropout. Well, what a goal line dropout it is. And Matty Russell was receiving treatment from the physio. He said, hang on, just a minute, the ball's coming at me, I better pick it up.
So let's kick the ball to the lad who's injured.
Well, it was a heck of a kick. He picked that up 30 metres away from his own line, the goal line dropout. That skimmed and bounced its way through. Ashton Sims will take the ball forward. Darrell Clark waits again. Now they're 30 metres away from the Wigan line, with Jack Hughes, formerly with the Wigan Warriors, of course. One of the two.
Warrington need to get a little bit deeper, and they're doing that now.
This is Hill. He only knows one way, the Warrington captain, doesn't he? Chris Hill. And milestone for him, 60th consecutive appearance. This is Westerman. Inevitably, Sam Powell with the initial challenge. This is Ratchford. Nice little kick in, and it came through the back door. Try for Ratchford here.
He'll give it as well, or will he go upstairs? Oh, he's going upstairs.
He wants to let Ben Taylor make the decision about this.
We've got no try.
Oh, they've no try down there.
Checking Ryan Atkins, please.
Something involving Ryan Atkins, Stuart Cummings.
I think it was an offside call from Tony Martin on the side. I actually thought he said Rashford, but it might have been Atkins that he was saying there. He's ruled him offside there on that kick, saying he's in front. So can the video referee see something there that will prove that he's onside for this try to be allowed?
I don't think they'll see whether he's onside or offside from this, will they?
Well, it's from there.
Maybe.
He's got to have both feet behind there. He's been called offside. I think it might be difficult to prove that he's actually onside here.
The fact, take notice of this because this has got an angle on it.
Yeah, he's offside there.
The fact that he peels away from the action, does that not make it okay?
Well, no, it's all about when he kicks the ball. When that ball is on the foot of Stefan Rashford, Ryan Atkins has to have both feet behind the ball at that point.
Looks like Ben
I think he's offside.
Looks like Ben Thaler might agree with you.
No try, yeah.
No try it is.
Penalties up here,
And that's good work by the touch judge as well. The combination between the two officials on the sideline, and you can see on that angle it's quite clear.
Well, yeah, but Steve-O, the point I'm making is that's why we don't use side angles for deciding on forward passes. He looked a mile offside there, but it was marginal from the other angle, wasn't it?
I know, but it's very rare that I agree with the referee. But Phil Bentham got it right, crossed his arms and said, no try.
Well, now we've got a couple of footballs on the pitch, and Gelling will restart.
Well, it'll be a big sigh of relief as far as Wigan's concerned, because for about 5 minutes, the Warrington side were all over them, but last-ditch efforts in defence from Wigan have been outstanding.
Penalty here for Wigan now. Darrell Clark turning the man. Tony Clubb over on his back. Warrington, of course, without Tom Lynham. Angela Powers has got news.
Yes, I do, Eddie. He's okay. They're not overly concerned about his condition, but as a precaution, he won't be coming back on in this game after that clash of heads with Tony Clubb.
Well, they must be fairly concerned then if he's not coming back.
Here. Well done.
That was the big clash of heads. Not returning tonight, so that drops Tony Smith's options down off the bench. This is Matty Smith. Back it comes to Sargentson. Gets the ball away to Charlie. Charlie aquaplanes in the corner. First try for Wigan. This will be given. Phil Bentham points to the spot. And Josh Charnley, 7th try of the season. 6 tries in 11 appearances before tonight. That's try number 148 of his Wigan career. This is his 153rd appearance and his first since he said earlier on he was off to sail rugby union next year.
This is a silly penalty. You can see he tried to turn Clubb. Second effort, and you'll see Matty Smith take a very, very quick penalty right into the corner. This is a beautiful build-up. But watch how the winger, Josh Charnley, goes down now. He slides in. If he'd have tried to just tiptoe through the tulips in at the corner, he would have been bustled over to the try line.
That's an experienced player, that, isn't he? Knowing that he's running out of space, he's got Matty Russell coming across, Kevin Penny, 2 really quick men. The ball movement from Wigan at the line, Dan Sargentson just running and just holding up. A couple of the Warrington players creates the space on the edge. Good finish from Charnley.
Well, it's difficult to stop anybody once you get so low to the ground and you're sliding. All you can do is hope maybe you can push him into the corner flag, but that was brilliant. The build-up and then the wonderful slide, outstanding.
Matty Smith now then with the chance to add the extras, but what a difficult kick this is. Yeah, the Warrington supporters breathing down his neck as well. 4-0 though, Wigan.
Well, classic Wigan attacking shape, strong, hard-running players. There we see the try scored by Josh Charnley in the corner, but it's the threat and the legitimacy of those dummy runners when the ball goes behind them. The defenders can't move off because they believe that that player might get the ball. But I was talking about completions a minute or two ago. Wigan Warriors back up to 78% now. When they complete around 80%, they're very, very dangerous.
Talima Tautai off the bench. Oh! What a hit by Clark, and he just brushed him away as if he was a little fly to Talima Tautai.
And he He's been hunting all night, Darrell Clark, the man who was so influential early on this year at DW. He's going in to the biggest of players and just putting his body on the line. Oh, what about that shot as well? They're all at it.
Evans is down again. He's not well.
Time off.
I mentioned earlier that I was surprised that Wigan did not apply the pressure to him because he's not 100%.
Well, I think this might be not the shoulder this time, but another clash of heads, and we've already lost Tom Lynham in the opening 20 minutes for the rest of the evening, apparently.
Eddie, so
this might be another one.
Sorry, Eddie, I saw Ashton Sims come flying in there. You see, he goes in, he clatters the man inside, and then it's the knee, is it, from Kurt Gidley on Rhys Evans?
The left knee goes in. Accidental, of course. I mean, you don't do that to one of your own players, but
you'd be struggling, wouldn't you, if one of your own teammates did it on purpose, Steve?
Yeah, well,
although I had a really good goal when I was playing with O'Connor.
Don't worry, I've seen it. Yeah, it came in late. I think it's more to the ribs, actually, isn't it?
No, you got to think you got him his head. It's Gildart's ribs, I think, but it's Rhys Evans' head.
Yeah, but he ricochets off his head into the ribs. He's got a double, do he?
Concern for Tony Smith.
And there's every right to be. Okay,
Tackle 3, lads.
they're only 4-0 down.
Well, he's been in the wars, hasn't he, Rhys Evans?
And that surprised me, Tony. As I say, you know, and surely the coach would send down on the Wigan coach, you know, maybe Sean Wayne, say, hey, come on, we've got a player on our right, left-hand side attacking. Let's put him under pressure, and they'll certainly do that now if he's going to stay on there.
Well, he's a tough lad, Rhys Evans. Earlier on, he hurt his shoulder. On this occasion, he's hurt his head, and Sean Wayne would send down any sorts of message and directions for players to get out. He's sat in a vantage point where he can see what's going on, but he's a brilliant talent, this lad.
Okay, go.
He is, and he's brave as well. There's no doubt about that. We've seen that in the opening 20 minutes of this match already. Twice he has received some fairly urgent attention from the physiotherapist. Bloody nose as well.
And then just waves them off.
He did. Ben Westwood was warming up, by the way. He began his career, didn't he, as a centre, come winger. So they have a replacement of sorts for Evans if necessary. Tomorrow night we're up here at the top of the table tonight. Tomorrow we're at the other end because the Huddersfield Giants will entertain the Leeds Rhinos, and only the fact that Salford Red Devils have been docked 6 points means that they are not bottom 2 in the First Utility Super League at the moment. Salford down there between them.
And Eddie, it would have been a real problem if Rhys Evans would have had to leave the pitch, because they've already lost, of course, Tom Lynham, which means Jack Hughes has gone into the centre. And to lose another back, outside backs, you don't typically have them on the bench to interchange.
This is Clark, and up the middle goes Ashton Sims. Plays the ball sort of horizontally and diving, and maybe was pulled. This is Sargentson.
Good chase. Yeah, great chase. Sargentson really tipped up there.
Gidley, the man who got the tackle in, a new one-year deal announced today for Kurt Gidley to go with a 2-year deal extension for the coach Tony Smith, who will celebrate a decade here in charge of the Warrington Wolves at the end of this current extension. They seem to have done away with disposing of coaches these days, don't they? I know there's been a couple who have lost their jobs this season already, but at the top end they realise continuity and longevity is what brings you success in the end.
Well, I think the Warrington fans would have been bitterly disappointed if they would have allowed Tony Smith to leave the club. He's done so much for them.
The kick downfield is straight into the arms of Matty Russell, hovering on this left wing. He takes the ball forward. Look at that defence from Wigan.
I get the impression that perhaps both these sides don't like each other, Tony.
It's just the history, isn't it? It's like a local derby. Both of these teams don't want to give it up. Warrington went to the DW, they beat them on in front of their own fans. So Wigan want to do exactly the same here.
It's a ferocious battle, it really is, and here's Rhys Evans walking wounded. Oh, what a run from him though. What a tremendous run from Rhys Evans.
Well, he must be just running on memory. He's had 2 big knocks. Oh, that's good inside pass.
Penalty. What was it, high shot?
High tackle.
Yes, it was, high tackle. Have to be pretty big to hit him high, and Lima Tautai is. with a bit of help from Willie Isa.
Eddie's to change the direction at the line. He spots a gap, he goes for it. Willie Isa goes across, he steps up his left, looks for that space, but Talima Tautai is the man who gives the penalty away.
Interesting enough, the Woolston Rovers Amateur Club provided the flag bearers tonight, and Ashton Sims' young son plays for Woolston Rovers. The ball somehow smuggles its way out to Kevin Penny. Penny then into centre field to Russell. He flicks it brilliantly to Darrell Clark. Darrell Clark gets the try. Wigan were caught off guard then. There was a fumble and a flick, and in the end Darrell Clark came up with the goods for Warrington. He was man of the match in the win at Wigan earlier this month. 28 points to 16 that night. This try has made it 4 apiece. And Darrell Clark, the Man of Steel and Young Player of the Year in 2014, he's back to his best.
Tautai going far too high on the big fella. Ashton Sims, I said, helped him along. This is good play. Defence should have watched this. It was well worth a little action there. Atkins got the ball away. But then the tip on, and Clark throws the dummy as the fend. That's what hookers do. They got quality, they got style, and this is wonderful, wonderful play. They took the gamble, and it paid off. Watch this from the hooker.
Well, Steve Orr talked about the attacking shape of Wigan in that last play. Well, that's classic Warrington. And what a beautiful tip on from Matty Russell. It was like Aladdin rubbing his lamp. He just pushed it onto the next player, into the next hole, everybody on board. And Darrell Clark, he scores the crucial try.
He does, and Kurt Gidley's conversion here will probably put Warrington ahead. I must say that looked on second and third viewing as a fairly soft penalty for Wigan to give away. 6-4 though, Warrington lead. Warrington took full advantage of the penalty, soft, hard or otherwise.
Well, it's like dry weather rugby, isn't it? Kevin Penny skipping across, looking for someone to jump the line, and Matty Russell, but he goes at this line, he loses the ball, but Darrell Clark, look at this, the footwork. Greg Burke's got eyes for the attackers outside him, leaves the gap, and that man, give him half a chance, so close to the line, he'll come up trumps all there.
I think that big top juggling act from Matty Russell had Wigan on the back foot there. I think they were bamboozled completely.
It does confuse you, because you've got your line of defence picking him out, hoping that he's going to recover the ball. And we often see that when we get the centre to have a little quick tap out to the winger, gives them the opportunity. It's always difficult to spot.
So Warrington are ahead by 6 points to 4. Chris Hill leading from the front, as he always does. They have scored more tries, 64 now, and conceded less, 37 now, than any other club in the Super League, the Warrington Wolves.
And you've got to take notice of the fact that it was Warrington that gave away a silly penalty, Wigan scored. It was Wigan gave away a silly penalty, Warrington scored. These defences are so strong, you've got to take advantage. That's a neat kick from Gidley right into the corner.
Great kick. Look where Sargentson has to pick it up from and tries to get away from Jack Hughes, and he's cornered.
That is a brilliant set of 6 when you've scored a try. There was nothing expansive, everyone had a job to do. Kurt Gidley, Darrell Clark, the forwards taking the ball forward, kick on the front foot, and now look where Wigan are trapped.
And trapped they are, trapped they are. This is swarming attack, a defence rather, from Warrington. 4 tackles gone, they're not outside their own 10-metre area yet.
Got to be careful, Warrington, don't give away a silly penalty.
Charnley will try and take it forward only as far as Clark. Well, the kick has to be good here, and Matty Smith's positioned himself for it. He'll get it away, humps it downfield. It's a good kick too. It's beyond Rhys Evans and in between him and Kevin Penny. Evans will run it back. Kevin Penny wanted the ball fed to him. Never came.
Boy, he's a tough hombre, isn't he, the centre, Rhys Evans. Takes the ball up there as though he was a forward. Big and strong.
Benjamin Julien looks himself up on halfway. Yes, he's in a bit of a mess. His boyish good looks have been affected. Gidley! Ball to the ground by Matty Smith.
And there again, sorry, Eddie, there again you find that Gidley just doing that half break. They've got to make sure they've got someone coming on second phase.
Gidley again into centre field to Ashton Sims. Ashton Sims is greeted by Mossop. He flicks the ball away to Hughes. Here is Julian again, the young French international who came here last year on a trial and won himself a 12-month contract at Benjamin Julian on the back of some good work for the North Wales Crusaders. The kick is high. He claims it well, though, Sargentson.
Under a lot of pressure there. Kurt Gidley was zoning in on him, but this is a huge problem for Wigan. They can't get out of their own quarter. Great take under pressure, as I said. Look at this defence again. Warrington, they've got to be careful. Don't overexpose. Don't give away the penalty. Chandler's injured.
Well, he's just feeling the back of his neck.
Move, Stefan! Hold!
Making his way out to the wing now, as Bateman will drive it up the middle, but halted by Ashton Sims and Darrell Clark, helped out by Chris Hill. Last tackle again for Wigan. Smith with another kick in the same place, but this time Evans is underneath it.
Well, the last few sets of six that they've had, they've caught it in good field position, all coming off the back of a dominant defensive line. They really are turning the pressure up here, Warrington. Every single one of them is really getting off the line. They're forcing Wigan into making mistakes, forcing Wigan into giving penalties away.
And is it Tautai again?
Yep. No, Mossop was involved, but it's Tautai that's having a few words spoken to him.
Well,
Keep it down.
The last one he conceded, Warrington scored. Yeah, that was right round the neck of Kevin Penny.
A lot more ferocious as well, that particular tackle. It was a flat hand that gave away the previous penalty.
Ashton Sims has been asked to leave the field, I think, by the... Oh, no, he hasn't been asked to leave the field by the coach, and Ben Westwood has replaced him.
And it's not a bad time to bring out the dynamo.
Yeah, big bad Benny comes off the bench. There he is.
He'll be eager to get involved and watch for the Wigan defence.
Try off the bench last week against Widnes, by the way. Here's Jack Hughes. Yeah, Ben Westwood, been around a while now. 34 years young is Ben, number 13. There he is. Here's his first touch. And a good one it is.
Oh,
it's a
nearly
tremendous run. He's got it down. He's got it down, Ben Westwood. First touch for Ben Westwood. And he gets the try. What an injection off the bench that was. He scored a try last week, as I say, against Widnes. And he scored a try with his first touch. And Tolima Tautai has given away 2 penalties. And Warrington have scored on the end of each one.
Yeah, you've got to start using your brains when it's rough and tough. That's no doubt about it. Swinging arm. And a few words from Phil Bentham. First touch of the ball, throws the dummy, no one goes low, and lo and behold, right in front of Phil Bentham. No doubt about this at all. This is a wonderful effort.
Well, you sat on the bench and you're told by your coach, get on there, son, give us an impact. But you can't get more of an impact than that. Look at this. This is from the ref's view. He runs straight between Powell and Tautai, takes Dan Sargentson back. That is just sheer power, determination and desire. And that's what his coach thought. Yeah, you've done it, son. You've done exactly what I wanted you to do.
Well, Ben Westwood's try is second of the season. 18th year as a player. He made his debut in the last century. And Barry and Terry and Steve-O were running around. Kurt Gidley. Adds the extras with ease. 12 for Warrington. Wigan 4-0. Warrington 12 unanswered points.
Well, ultimately this game's about scoring tries, but it's the defence that's been impressive from the Warrington Wolves tonight. They got themselves into that position by being strong, being brave and meeting the Warriors and playing them at their own game. Physicality.
And you've got to give a lot of effort as well by that the injured player, Rhys Evans. On 2 occasions, he's carted the ball up another 30 metres up there against a defence which is, well, all I can say, cruel on both sides.
Well, the 2 penalties that this man, Tautai, have given away, and he ought to be very careful, he might give away a third here. The 2 penalties he's given away have proved ever so expensive for Wigan.
It was the same the other way around as well. Warrington gave that silly penalty, and it was Wigan that got onto the scoreboard. It looks like, well, what happened there? I thought they'd lost the ball.
No, they hadn't. I think Wigan lost the man.
Darrell Clarke had too many options to pick from then. Who was going to pass the ball to?
Ratchford. Low kick. Charnley thought about it. This will hang up in the in-goal area. That's a great kick from Stefan Ratchford. Charnley to run it back. Here comes the pressure again from Warrington in defence, right near the Wigan posts. It's a tremendous game. 31 minutes gone. Oh, this will relieve the pressure.
They needed that, Eddie. I totally agree with you. Stefan Ratchford just holding onto the ball as Josh Charnley gets up to play it here. He comes round the back of him. He's just got a little tug with his right arm, and that is a relieving penalty because a lot of the Wigan players were just marching back then thinking, who's going to bring this ball forward for us?
Yeah, and it was good work by Josh Charnley as well, because he made the impact and made sure that the ball carrying arm went loose, so it went onto the ground.
Willie Isa thought about getting the pass away to young Jack Wells, who's just on the field, and thought better of it.
We often talk about...
George Williams is out there as well. Here is Tautai now.
And I think they need a little bit more direction, and that's the reason why Sean Wayne has put on the youngster George Williams.
Operating at dummy half right now. Gives it to Isa. Here is Smith. Back it comes then to Sargentson.
Oh, that looked high, but he just dropped his hand at the vital moment.
Stefan Ratchford on Sargentson. Bateman. Smith drops the pass off. Greg Burke will take it forward. Last tackle for Wigan.
It's got to be a high bomb, surely.
It's another good defensive effort from Warrington, that, when you consider where they started that set of six. High, 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 this. Penny claims it.
Surrender! Hold goal,
You've always got to be brave, haven't you? At the back, when those high balls go in the air, speaking of brave, Bruce Evans taking the ball, but look at that. Under pressure, knowing that it's slippy conditions, you can't afford to take your eye off that ball.
And on top of that, Terry, it's the most important thing. You know, it's been very heavy in defence, so the forwards are getting tired. And you've got to look at the likes of Reece Evans all of a sudden saying, hey, leave it with me.
Well, that's his third penalty.
Again,
yeah, he might get the shepherd's crook in a minute.
Well, he should be.
3 penalties that have, well, certainly the first 2, they've cost his side dearly. It's the speed and the pace of the game. You see Sean Wayne on his 150th game in charge of the Wigan Warriors. You can see what he thinks of that.
He's becoming a liability. The coach has got to get him off.
What I would say on that, Steve, they're trying to slow Warrington down because they're getting beat at the ruck. They're continually being marched down the pitch, so Tautai and his teammates are just trying to get numbers in, peel off and make it a slow play the ball, because whenever Darrell Clarke, the number 9, gets in from dummy half and starts running, you're in danger mode.
Here comes Jordan Cox. 23 years of age, from Hulkingston Rovers last year. Gidley drops the ball off. Westwood again. Surely not. No, he's held up.
Beautiful little offload back on the inside. How many times has he been doing that through his career? Good job that Bateman was equal to the task. But they're in a lot of trouble, Wigan, here.
Tackle count continues. It's Gidley, and this is Hughes, and Jack Hughes arrived at Warrington via Huddersfield, of course, and via the Wigan Warriors. Gidley stabs the kick in. Well picked up by Bateman.
Well, we've spoken about people being brave, and that was.
That's a flop. Jordan Cox.
He knows
leading penalty.
He knows it too.
You've got to be impressed with the way that Warrington are playing tonight. They're really attacking the middle. Here's a kick to the middle. Also close. Stefan Ratchford can't regather it. But it was from a drop-off, going back up the guts, up the middle. I think he thought he was in for his second try, Ben Westwood.
Well, what happened here? Let's have a look. Oh, young Wells carried the ball forward and dropped it cold.
Yeah, we're just taking off the ruck. Make sure you have all of that. With John Bateman saved 2 tries, they're relieved all that pressure for his Wigan teammates. They then get the penalty, and then straight from the tap they lose the ball. So they're under more pressure here, Mike.
Terry, I've said it for many, many years. Why on earth do they use the ball carrying arm to utilise the impact? It's easy in wet conditions. It is still slippy out there.
All I would say on that, Steve-o, is that when I used to play, I used to use that as my bumper. So I'd make sure that I used to go into the collision, I'd hold on to the ball, and I'd use it to bang people off, because that's how I felt comfortable carrying the ball.
We're not talking about cars. We're talking about rugby league.
Take the notice. That was a pillow.
Go on, well back.
Clark up the middle with Cox again.
Working hard as well as Jordan Cox.
Ratchford to the corner. He was looking for Kevin Penny. It ricocheted off the Wigan leg, and Josh Charnley has it. Ratchford's trying to pinch it.
Well, how many times that when Warrington are getting close to line, they're trying to kick the ball in behind them. They're asking so many questions with the short kicking game.
Yeah, and this is great tactics. You've got to pat on the back for Tony Smith for doing that. We've seen him from the two half-backs, Ratchford and Gidley, and they're just turning Wigan around.
I mean, he was asking for a penalty, then it never came. That's a great offload by Bateman.
My neck's quite stiff, Eddie, because the one thing, I'm only looking one way.
Gelling taking a chance, drops it on the ground. Bateman gobbles it up. He was lucky there because, that was played up by Russell. I think this is going to be head and feet to Wigan.
Should be.
I think.
The fellas have got played up.
Yeah,
Wigan ball.
I agree with you, Eddie. When he gets out, he puts his foot out.
Yeah, foot's up.
Can you just tell him it's played out?
Well, Phil Bentham's gone the other way. I think he's asking to have another look. He definitely played at that, Matty Russell.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Matty Russell's played at the ball. This should be Wigan's head and feet.
Just waiting.
Well, he's given it once, but he's allowing Ben Thaler 2 looks, which I think he's had.
Wigan ball.
And it is a Wigan head and feet.
Heads in. Out, time on.
Williams at the base of the scrum finds Gregson, who in turn gives it to Sargentson.
First move!
That's got to be a penalty because Gidley went for a piggyback.
Just losing concentration, I'm afraid, Warrington. Less than 4 minutes remaining to the half-time break. This is a golden opportunity. Wigan have been under the cosh. Now it's their turn to apply this pressure.
And Burke will take it in on the first tackle this set. We're 3 minutes away from half-time. Williams gives it to Tautai. Well, Mr. Wayne, I think, will have a word with TT at half-time.
Well, there's every right to him, maybe. He's thinking that I should have brought him off a long time ago.
He might not have the options, though, Steve-o, you know. If you look at all the injured that we're going to put out.
You know, it's really difficult when you're like that, and you make mistake after mistake after mistake, and it seems the harder you try, the worse it gets. Talima Tautai, he's had a dreadful 10 or 15 minutes, hasn't he?
Torrid. Let's use the word torrid.
A testing 15 minutes.
A Joe Cocker, Barry. A Joe Cocker.
Move! Go!
2 minutes to half-time.
I presume that's a shocker, eh?
Correct. You should know, you're a Londoner.
Move! Hold! Go to.
He's from Sheffield.
Well, the rhyming slang isn't from Sheffield.
Third! Move!
Darrell Clark waits.
He meant you, Steve-o, although I don't think London want you. Dewsbury don't, and neither do Australia.
So we're stuck with him.
Listen, that's why I keep moving around.
Darrell Clark, Matty Russell, a great run. Matty Russell, a wonderful run. Halted by a great tackle by Sargentson.
Quick play the ball.
Last one here for Warrington. Gidley hoists it wide, looking for Kevin Penny. Brilliant kick, brilliantly taken. Wonderful try. Wonderful try. The kick was outstanding from Kirk Gidley. It was on a sixpence for Kevin Penny. And Kevin Penny, who's been good in defence, is pretty good in attack as well. When that ball's in the air, he made it his. He picked it up and he dropped on it gratefully. Kevin Penny with the try into double figures.
And what about the break from dummy half from Matthew Russell? That's what you need from a fullback that can just spot that the first and second markers aren't there. And this is the reason why Kirk Gidley has extended his contract here. That is a wonderful kick, a wonderful take. And Wigan are in all sorts of trouble.
It's a committed kick and catch, and he does really well to get the ball down, Kevin Penny. But if we're watching those two players, Matthew Russell and Kevin Penny, during the course of this first 40 minutes, they've been interchanging and swapping and rotating. A bit of time on the wing, a bit of time at fullback, just constantly mixing up the threat from that backfield. It was Matthew Russell with the initial surge, and then the finish from that man, Kevin Penny. Wonderful stuff.
I know that you get nothing for the kick in terms of points, but you actually should get a gold medal, Kurt Gidley, for that, because that was precision.
Yeah, well, Kurt Gidley and Stefan Ratchford's kicking game close to the line's been absolutely brilliant. You want the ball, if you're going to be an attacking kick in the air, you want it to land on the try line. So it comes and drops down underneath the opposition's winger or fullback, and then for Kevin Penny to run onto that, he's been committed near his own line, and he was committed there.
That's the question a week or two ago. Can Warrington win without Sandow? Question tonight is, will Sandow get his place back? 18-4 to Warrington. Gidley, tremendous kick. Penny, fantastic try. Look at that.
Well, that's absolutely quality. You see Josh Jarley, he's up against it. He's got 3 Warrington players running onto that ball, and that man scores the try.
18 points to 4 then. The Warrington Wolves are ahead. Charnley with the first try on 17 minutes. Then 3 in 16 minutes from Warrington. Clark, Westwood and Penny. Gidley's added all 3 goals. Warrington in control at half-time.
Challenge Cup winners.
Super League's first ever relegation grand final. The ball has bounced. It's celebration. Wakefield are going to survive. So can John Keir produce yet another showstopper? Find out next Friday at 6:45 at 7:45 on Sky Sports 1, and in another first on Sky, we'll be listening in to John Keir in the dressing rooms, on the sideline, and exclusively during the game itself as the Batley coach interacts with our commentary team. John Keir goes live on the mic next week. The second half about to get underway here between Wigan and Warrington. If it's anything like the first half, there should be no complaints. Steve-o, that first 40 minutes was absolutely ferocious.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was rugged, and Mick Sullivan funeral was this morning. And the man that I call simply the best player that's ever pulled on a pair of boots. We said farewell to a legend, and he would have enjoyed that 40 minutes with gusto, and that is some gusto as well. And it's the same man, Tautai, getting involved. He's got to be careful.
Russell with a drive up the middle. Good run from Matty Russell. He plays the ball to Darrell Clark. That was Stefan Ratchford, and he will drill it all along the ground. The kicking game from Warrington tonight has been first class.
It's been the strength, hasn't it, off the back of the good go forward, dominant defence here. You look at where Warrington have played, and when they turn up today, I thought, where's Wigan going to play? Are they going to take them on up the middle? Well, Warrington have done that. They've absolutely took the game to Wigan up the centre of the field. And in that first half, Wigan missed 18 tackles. Not like Wigan, but Warrington, you've got to give credit to them. They're running hard, they're tackling hard, and they're asking so many questions.
And the biggest question you've got to ask as well is that the combination of Stefan Ratchford and Kurt Gidley, their kicking games have been superb. Wigan, they're really left with only Matty Smith, so they know to put the pressure on the halfback. Wigan look confused as to who's going to take it, Ratchford or Gidley.
Come on.
Sargison plays the ball out wide to Charnley. Russell and Atkins do the job defensively on Josh, and he will play the ball to Anthony Gelling, who's been kept very quiet. He has been a Wigan star this year so far, but has been quiet here tonight, and he'll be talking to John Wells at full time at the touchscreen. Matty Smith, meanwhile, under pressure from Julian, gets the kick away. That's a good kick from him. Pens Penny into the corner. There's the chase. It's arrived now, and Williams and Isa get Kevin Penny to the ground. Let's see what was said at half-time in those dressing rooms. Angela Powell.
Thanks, Eddie. It was a fairly happy Tony Smith. They put good pressure on Wigan, but allowed them to breathing space by giving away unnecessary penalties. He wants to see better ball control. He wants to see them play direct and complete their sets. Just an update on Tom Lynham. He didn't improve in the dressing room in that first half, so they've taken him to hospital as a precaution. Now, Sean Wayne, it was a very tough changing room, as you already know. He was very vocal about that first half performance, but he wants them to get back to where they were in the first 15 minutes, stick to that game plan, and they might just come away with something here.
Well, they might come away with something here, because Jordan Cox has got up and he's lost the ball. He dropped it clean, he really did. Tautai was involved again.
Yeah, he's certainly getting involved, that is for sure. But this time it's on the positive side.
So Wigan gets some territory here. What can they do with it?
Well, as I say, they'll be lifted in the spirit, because that was the best kick from Matty Smith previous. And it's all about changing the angles, making sure that they play in Warrington's half. I mean, that first 40 minutes, Warrington just controlled field position right the way throughout that first 40 minutes.
Go!
Williams, the dummy half, gives it to Smith. Ooh, and Bateman had a little fumble because he could see Ben Curry was coming at him pretty quickly.
But if you stand so square, you've got to give yourself a little bit more depth, because this Warrington defence is coming at them quickly.
Matty Smith gets the ball away. Good hands here, and Wells is brought to ground 20 metres away from the Warrington line. Julian was all over him, but Williams from dummy half finds Smith. Smith pops the ball up to Willie Isa. And Isa makes about 3 metres progress into the Warrington quarter. We've reached the last tackle here. What can Wigan conjure up? Smith, it's a nice kick towards the in-goal area. Penny picks it up, and then Penny is driven back over the goal line. It's a goal line dropout that Wigan have forced.
Well, Ratchford is trying to say to the official that, you know, the ball carrying arm was already there, but had he stopped the momentum?
I think he's got a case here. Stephen Ratchford saying you need to have a look. Kevin Penny at this point, he's trying his best to get down. There's the forearm on the floor, and that's the second push.
Well, he's immovable. He's immovable, Phil Bentham.
Well, there was a second push on that, but he's already made his decision. It's not a decision that the video referee can overrule. It's not a disputed possession. It's whether it would be a penalty in the field or not. So it's nice to go with the referee's decision on that.
But Stuart, has the official got it wrong? I think he has.
Yes, he has. That's what I said.
Goal line dropout. Good distance again on those tonight. Tautai grounded on halfway. Cox and Westwood, the hunters. Bateman now.
2. Move now! Wait.
Wrestled to the ground by Ben Curry. George Williams, young player of the year, on the field, off the bench, easing his way back into action after 8 weeks out. Here's Tautai again, fed by Smith.
A lot better.
To close him down.
Wigan's attack, a lot better. They're standing wide. They're running onto the ball now.
Little dart through by Matty Smith. Williams are on the last. Williams dancing through, and eventually the kick just too strong. A sign of what was there last year then from George Williams.
Yeah,
Penny's away.
Wonderful stuff. You could see Wigan were a little bit slow to get themselves sorted out. But I'm with you, Eddie. George Williams showed there what he's capable of. The only problem is that when he was dancing through, was there any support? No.
Russell with a scamper from dummy half. Jordan Cox in back play, receiving some treatment on the run.
Good play though, isn't it, from Matthew Russell?
Here goes Ratchford.
And that's the style of play that Matthew Russell has taken over. Remember, for many years, Stephen Ratchford, playing in the fullback role, would jump in to the dummy half position. Now it's Clark. They're under pressure, Wigan now.
Willie Isa in back play. He's receiving treatment. Wigan were man down in defence. Rhys Evans got to that, I think, first. Was it a knock-on by Rhys Evans? No, it wasn't, says the referee.
Tremendous set, sorry Eddie, tremendous set there from Warrington. They're speeding the game up, so much so that Wigan are struggling to get back on side, struggling to get the markers in position, and they're applying the pressure, and it will be sustained pressure that will undo this Wigan side.
It's just sheer enthusiasm. Starting with that run from Kevin Penny when he gets the ball, he taps it, runs to the 20, taps it as quick as he can. You've got Kurt Gidley running, you've got all the speedsters getting involved, turning Wigan around. It just seems so relentless at the minute.
Again, the kicking game has been nothing short of superb from Warrington tonight.
Goal line dropout from Matty Smith, gets to the halfway line again. Cox will run it back. The word about Matty Smith, by the way, kicked his 20th drop goal for Wigan last week in the win against Huddersfield. He's now the leading drop goal exponent in the Wigan history. He's left behind the likes of Andy Farrell, Joe Lydon, Frano Botica, Colin Whitfield. Matty Russell almost left Wigan behind then. Club got to him, but Russell is able to get the ball away to Ben Westwood. He bounces off the tackle from Williams. Oh, Club could have been done for a flop then, coming on the back of Burke. Here is Gidley attacking the line. Gidley! Good run from him. Solid defence from Isa. He was injured not long ago. Westerman goes for it himself. And Westerman will be held up by sheer weight of numbers.
And again, they're just turning the tourniquet, aren't they? Warrington have been so decisive when they're attacking, of getting the full complement of play the ball.
Jack Hughes takes it to the fifth tackle. Quick play, the ball to Clark. Gidley, he shaped a kick, he gave it to Ratchford. They have a man on the overlap, Mike Needham. Ratchford gets the ball away to Atkins. Atkins with the try! Ryan Atkins, he got a try in the win at Wigan at the start of the month. That was his 150th in the Super League. He hadn't scored in the last two, but he comes up with one here, and that makes it a very, very difficult mountain for Wigan to climb now.
Put yourself in a position, and then look as though you're going to pass, look as though you're going to kick. Ratchford with the offload. Wigan's defence completely all at sea. Some are hanging back, some want to see what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening, they're coming out of the lines and they're scoring.
Steve Ryan Atkins had pushed through, he was expecting the kick from Kurt Gidley. He was calling for the ball from the previous tackle. He was calling for the ball to go up in the air. He knew that Kurt Gidley had gone to the line. He'd shaped as though he was going to kick it, so he pushed through. When Stephen Ratchford then just steps off his left foot, and obviously Ryan Atkins is there in the frame, kept himself in the frame to score that try. Simple.
Well, they got a try here last year in a 17 points to 6 home win last July against Wigan, and he has scored a try here tonight in what is shaping up to be another home win against the Wigan Warriors, and that home and away Super League double, the first for 4 years, is now beckoning the Warrington Wolves. And Kurt Gidley with the opportunity to add 2 more points to the Wolves total, which he does with ease. 24 points to 4.
Well, this try comes as a consequence of the last try of the first half. When Kevin Penny scores, it's on the back of a huge bomb from Kurt Gidley, and he already has in his mind, Kurt Gidley, he has plan A, which is to put the kick high, but he knows if the landscape changes and he has a space and gap that he thinks he can put somebody through, there'll be points come from it. Wonderful work from Kurt Gidley. 251 games for Newcastle Knights, and he used all that experience.
Well, Warrington will be delighted to have scored that first try. Having said that, Warrington have just knocked on, and so Wigan are going to get head and feet at the scrum. I say they'll be delighted to get the first try because they haven't outscored Wigan in the second half of any of the last 9 meetings since 2013. Sorry, it's not a knock-on.
Yeah.
My mistake. I do apologise. It was a great kick-off, actually.
It is Wigan going for the short kick-off. They know that they need the ball, and Julian just getting a bit confused whether to go for that ball, or let the ball bounce. Is it going behind me?
It's amazing. It happens all the time, and now Warrington seem to be losing the plot. Joe Westerman, and that's good work.
Great work from Bateman. Quick tap penalty. So they've had their head and feet at the scrum. Here's the penalty, and here's the next set from that. Gregson, that was high from Gidley, surely. The referee says it was off the shoulder. So play on. Williams, Smith drops it back to Sargentson. Sargentson then finds Gelling. No way through for Gelling. So he goes into reverse, comes back, and then slips in front of Gidley. Matty Smith now attacking the line. Whoa! There is one of Terry's big hits, and it's from Darrell Clark.
Was
Williams
it ever?
dabs the kick to the in-goal area.
And he's quick.
He is quick. He's grounded it in goal. It's a goal line dropout.
Again, another huge hit from Darrell Clark, who still has to get on his bike because of the short kick. But what about this for collision? Matty Smith, he's looking for somebody to pass to, and Darrell Clark picks him up, drills him into the ground.
Will it feature? That's the question we're all asking ourselves.
Yes, I'm sure it will, Eddie. He's been at it. He's been at it all day.
Tuesday on the website, skysports.com/rugby league. That's where you can find Barry and Terry's biggest hits.
Well, there's plenty to go at tonight. There's been some crackers.
I tell you what, you could have some of the best goal line dropouts as well that we've seen this season tonight, because each and every one of them seems to have gone halfway line and over. Julian and Westwood just pick up with Greg Burke, who then knocks on.
Yeah, it's not all about pressure. We're being physical. It's sometimes up in the brain box, and he knows it is John Wayne. He knows that they're starting to lose the plot. Virtually with 10 minutes in that first half to go, and then come up with the error. It's not surprising, because they've had to do such a lot of hard work in defence. They must be out on their feet already.
Well, they must be, and some of their big names are in the stands watching this. 7 first-team frontliners not playing tonight. Warrington in control of this match now. And there's some of them there. Sean O'Loughlin, Liam Farrell. We've seen Joel and Sam Tompkins. This is Matty Russell. There are glum faces on the Wigan sidelines tonight. No wonder, because this is a good display from Warrington.
Yeah, they've been outplayed, and especially the real tactical work. You've got to give a lot of credit to Tony Smith, because I mentioned before how Stephen Ratchford used to do it, playing at full back, then jumping into the dummy half. Matthew Russell has been all over the shop. Wonderful display from the fullback.
Ratchford to Ben Curry. Smith tries to shepherd him towards the sideline.
This will be another high kick, surely.
From Ratchford, no, it's all along the deck, because Gelling did well, but look at the chase from Darrell Clark and Stephen Ratchford.
Yeah, what a take though from the centre. Gelling, it had to be as well.
Wigan just can't get out of their own quarter.
No, they're just tough carries. That is a brilliant take as well, isn't it, under pressure, because he's looking up at what's coming ahead of him here. But just look at the speed of the line here from Warrington. They know that they've got trapped. They've got Wigan trapped here. Who wants the ball for Wigan? These lonely carries. I've been in this position many a times. You're behind on the scoreboard. You've got to put your hand up, and you've got to lead from the front.
They've been out-muscled. It's as simple as that.
What will Anthony Gelling have to say when he talks to John Wells at the touchscreen later?
Very little.
He'll be honest, Eddie.
A very talented man, Anthony Gelling. There's a video going around the social media he's done with one of his teammates, Lewis Tierney, about Ryan Sutton. It's amusing, very, very funny, but a very talented man, Anthony Gelling, on and off the pitch.
He won't be smiling much tonight, and the Wigan won't be smiling much, having been trapped there on the last tackle, in possession of the football, couldn't get the kick away. What a mess.
Yeah, it's they're just, as I say, they've been out-muscled. 2 or 3 men going into the tackle. They're playing the ball quicker, and again, as I say, Ratchford used to do this all the time. They've got the overlap.
They have. It's Julian, Benjamin Julian. Couldn't smuggle it out to Rhys Evans. Do Wigan get him over the sideline? No, they don't. Oh, yes, they do. James Child now puts the flag up. He waited until a few bodies moved out of the way, and then he saw that Julian was over the line. That's fair enough. He took his time to make the decision, Stu.
It is. His body's in the way. He's got around. He knew that the player wasn't moving any. And when he got around to the other side, he could see that he's actually in touch. So there's no movement from that player, and he's clearly in touch.
But surely, Stuart, someone's dragging. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, I don't think so. I think he just fell over at the last minute, the player on the outside. I don't think there's a problem with the tackle there. And he's in touch.
And the most important thing is neither did James Child or Phil Bentham think there was anything wrong with the tackle, and so Wigan gains some respite. They will get the head and feed. Huddersfield Leeds tomorrow, 7:30 Sky Sports 2. Last year's top 3, and of course last year's champions. This year's bottom 3. An incredible Super League season we are enjoying in 2016. It's gone upside down.
Yeah, it's crackers, isn't it? Simple as that. You know, Wigan's got to start doing something a little bit different. You know, chip over the top. They know that they can't get through with their skill factor. And the defence from Warrington's far too good. So they've got to be a little chip over. They'll look to see whether the full-back is in a deep position, but they've lost possession.
Play on, the kick was deep, it was charged down, it flicked off a Wigan player, and it was gobbled up by Ben Curry. Here they come again, the Primrose and Blue. Stephen Ratchford is grounded though by Tony Clubb.
Well, they're not finishing the sets off, Wigan. They're putting themselves under pressure. They're making mistakes on the last play. The kick's been charged down. What I think they need to do, Steve-O, is kick the ball into the corner, chase really hard, and hunt the mistake.
Easier said than done, Terry. Ashton Sims.
It is, Eddie, but whether you kick on the second or third play, you've got to back yourself. If you're losing the ball at the back end of the set, you kick early.
I agree, they've got to come up with something different.
I don't think Sean Wayne is enjoying this one little bit. Stephen Ratchford gives it to Ashton Sims. He then finds Gidley. Evans wanted the ball played long down the right. Julian takes it forward.
And again, we see this Wigan defence hanging back. Some's going forward, others are hanging back. Kick through again. It's been a nightmare with the kicking.
Knock on by Wigan on the goal line by Dan Sargentson. I think he certainly lost it.
And because of the slippy conditions, the majority of kicks from Warrington have been along the ground from that man Kurt Gidley, taking control, kicking it to the sticks. If it takes a ricochet, there's enough blue jerseys there that can come up with the ball and maybe a try, and there you can see the mistake from Sargentson. But again, it's the pressure from Stephen Ratchford, the man who's pushing up hard, and Tony Smith, well, he's certainly enjoying this.
Yeah, the knock-on just comes at the last minute when the ball's by the post and he drags it along the ground towards him. So he's knocked it on upfield by pulling it into him along the ground.
So a great chance for Warrington to add to their 24 points. Benjamin Julian, French international, 20 years of age, 4 times he's played for his country. Clark, the dummy half. Here is Gidley. Now it's Ratchford. Short ball, Curry. They do a good job on Ben Curry. He's had an outstanding season, Ben Curry. And this is his 100th Warrington appearance tonight. He'd love to crown it with a try. Gidley!
They're very well balanced, aren't they, Warrington, at the moment? Everybody's working overtime. It's got to be a try, surely.
Ryan Atkins will provide it. Second try for Ryan Atkins. In the driving rain at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. Ryan Atkins. And it could be a bridge too far for Wigan now.
Just keep the ball alive, but again, it has come from superb kicking in open play. If it's not Stephen Ratchford, then it's Kurt Gidley. There's the knock-on from Sargentson. Either way, it was a one-on-one, so when it came loose, and then they put it through, this is so simple. Again, look at them coming out of the line, creates the overlap. It's simplistic rugby league football, but boy, is it effective.
Perfect execution from Warrington. You look at the Wigan defenders, there's enough numbers to fix it, and somehow the pass and the play unfolds and it strips the Warrington defence, strips the Wigan defence. And Warrington now very dominant, 28 points to 4, full value. They've beaten Wigan in pretty much every facet of the game, and Tony Smith will be delighted to see such a quality performance And it's tough viewing for Sean Wayne.
It is. He's got Warrington fans all round him by the looks of things over on that far side of the field. And the Warrington fans are singing, "We are top of the league, we are top of the league."
I guarantee you them two blokes won't be singing that loud. They'll be saying it under their breath.
4 from 4 for Gidley, 100%. This will test that record. New deal today, an extra 12 months, so he's here this season and next. And that's the first he's missed. You can see, though, why they brought him over. OK, Kirk Gidley, 33 years of age, 12 Aussie caps, 12 times the State of Origin star for New South Wales. He is the missing link. He's what Warrington have looked for since Lee Breers departed the scene.
He's composed. You've just seen from his kicking game, and when he takes the ball to the line, he's asking so many questions, directing his players behind the field as well as Wigan goes short. But a couple of the Wigan players biting in, then Josh Charnley, Anthony Gelling, they've just got numbers. Warrington, they're working really hard for each other. They've been excellent, Eddie.
They have been excellent, and things go for you when you're sitting pretty at the top of the table. That kick-off was dropped by Julien, went straight through his grasp, but went backwards. And that's the sort of thing, as I say, when you're up at the top of the table, the little bits of luck go your way.
Yeah, the things do go for you, but again, do you know, when you see that you score tries, and how many times do we see so many teams making mistakes? Well, Warrington, they've been very clinical.
Out on the full from Gidley, the man's human after all.
I was going to say they've been very clinical apart from that kick. But they get into the kick, they're doing all the nice little things, and they're not trying to play that expansive brand of rugby that we've seen them play.
Yeah, quite obvious, well and truly over the whitewash, but he's had a magnificent game, and he's been a great addition to it. And I suppose in many ways, if Sandow can get himself sorted out, I don't know, Tony Smith really has a big smile on his face, and there he is, trying to hide.
Yes, he is trying to hide, but he will, when he gets fit, I think it'll be a long-term thing, though, because it's a nasty pull of the hamstring. It will certainly offer, if Gidley and Ratchford and company stay in this sort of form, it will give Tony Smith a bit of a headache.
It's one that he'll enjoy. It's all a matter of the fact, you know, that when the players say, "We'll step up," oh, great tackle there. Oh, is it again? Gidley, yeah.
Powell to Williams. Now then, George Williams produced something. They get them for the obstruction there, even though Ryan Sutton slipped and went flat on his back. That's still an obstruction, Stu.
Well, it is. It affects the defence when he runs around behind his own player, and it's the player that's been pulled in there, creating the gap.
Well, Ryan Sutton's trying to put the reverse brakes on as quick as he can. He's trying to hit a hard line. Falls on the floor, and George Williams, there'll be a better team once he's had a couple more games under his belt, more minutes, gets back up to speed.
Well, he's been the only player really since he came off the bench in regards to asking any sort of questions to this Warrington defence. But there again, on 2 or 3 occasions, we've seen his footwork coming through. Is anyone supporting him? No.
Ashton Sims over halfway for Warrington, met by Ryan Sutton. And a couple of others. Darrell Clark scheming again from dummy half. He'll have a run himself. Well, he didn't make the England internationals last year. He's come up here with a knock-on. Under pressure from Tony Clubb. They didn't make the England team last autumn, but he's got designs, he's got his sights set on the Four Nations this year.
Well, he's playing well this year, isn't he? And just the speed of thought for him. He gets up and he sees that John Bateman and Ashton Sims are having a bit of a go at marker. So that's where the focus is. The focal point of the game is the ruck. As soon as he sees that there's a bit of a mess up, he's gone. He's so dangerous, Darrell Clark.
That could have maybe gone against Tony Clubb.
Yeah, the different angle showed that perhaps it was more of a facial rather than a... I think he pulls out of it, this club.
Just down the beard, isn't it? It's just down the beard.
Yeah, this is okay.
He thought about it and said, "Oh well, I better go for the ball."
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, you're right.
That won't be in the biggest hits then, Stephen.
No.
Leave it, Eddie.
You've got to move
It's
on from that,
ours.
Eddie.
It's ours, not yours.
Yeah, well, you want me to watch it, don't you? You want everybody to watch what you put in.
You watch it just to have a go with us.
I watch it and I can't sleep for 3 nights.
Well, that's silly play there.
Well, Ashton Sims, he's having a running battle with everybody in the cherry and white shirt. I think I saw somebody took his ponytail in one of those tackles. And you see him, he's involved. It's Lee Mossop on this occasion
Well, that's
who
silly.
tips him up.
Yeah. And that's not on, to pull a ponytail. I'm dead against all
How
that.
would you know?
I pulled a few, if you must know.
Warrington then restart, 20 metres away. Julien again.
I've been impressed with him. He really has worked overtime. But when you look across the board at all the Warrington players, it has been a great team effort. They've shared the workload. They've been more aggressive, and certainly, he nearly made it.
He nearly did, Chris Hill. What a Trojan he is for the Warrington cause. Gidley, Russell, Williams gets to him. And down he goes. But Warrington are turning up the pressure all the time. George King now. Still George King. Plays the ball. Ratchford, Gidley. Oh, Julien will crown his display with a try. Benjamin Julien. His first try for the Warrington Wolves. He trialled with the club last year. He got a one-year deal, the man from Avignon. He was on loan at the North Wales Crusaders in 2015. This is his 4th appearance in a row, and every time we've seen him this year, this young man has been quite impressive.
Again, a penalty, and this was silly. He had possession, and then he just threw it away. And the pressure told again. Another try from a penalty, but this was beautiful work there by Kurt Gidley. Came from the open side, switched to the blind. As soon as he sucked in, George Williams, he knew it was going to be a try, and the Frenchman celebrates like only the Frenchman can.
Thumbs up from Tony Smith. Richard Agard alongside him. He takes a lot of the coaching responsibilities off Tony Smith during the course of the week. Tony just tinkers, I think, and just makes his own decisions, makes the changes, makes the signings.
And isn't it funny, Eddie, that last year, a lot of the fans here, they went through a bad patch and they were blaming Mr. Agar. They're not blaming him now, because that was a perfect move from a coach's point of view.
It was very unfair, the criticism that Richard Agar got last year.
And it's amazing, isn't it, what a couple of new signings do to the side. They brought them in. He's a very clever coach, Richard Agar.
I wonder when we watch the replay, we might just take a look at the contribution of Stefan Ratchford. How he quickly is facing infield, finds the pass right on the money. As we see the goal or the try converted.
The dynamics of the side are working really well for Warrington. Again, look at Kurt Gidley. There's eyes for Kurt Gidley. Players coming in, trying to shut the player down. But Stefan Ratchford knew that Kurt Gidley was coming across the back of the ruck, and all Julien had to do then was hit a real tight, hard line, which he did.
And it's only a difficult thing, but to have your back to a player, you only get a split second to actually see him and still find the mark. It's a quality skill. He's acting half, he's got all the skill set, Stefan Ratchford.
Last away game for Wigan, and they won't thank me for reminding them of this. Wakefield 62, Wigan 0 tonight. So far, it's a 30-point winning margin for the Warrington Wolves. We've still got 14 minutes remaining.
They got blasted off the park, Eddie, in the opening 15 minutes. More energy from the home side. The defence has been up to it, and there have been certain periods where Wigan have just been in their own quarter, their own red zone, for 10-15 minutes at a time. Was that late? No, according to the official.
Wigan players come off second best in that challenge as well.
I think is it Tony
I think
Clubb?
it is Tony Clubb. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he doesn't know where he is.
They better get him off. They have to take him off. Chris Brooks very, very quickly into the situation just to shepherd him away. It was a big hit, and Tony Clubb caught the side of Gidley's body here.
Well, the big fellas for Wigan always put a lot of pressure on the kickers on the last play. That's in the job description. That's what they must do. That's non-negotiable from the coach.
No, they've done the right thing.
It's non-negotiable either that Tony Clubb is taken from the field by Professor Brooks.
Yeah.
I think perhaps he may have the impact when he hit the ground at it. Maybe the head shuddered. I'm not right sure. Either way, he doesn't look well. Well, it's all a matter of now whether Wigan can give their fans something to cheer about. It's been a miserable day to start with, and I'm afraid it could finish out to be a miserable day if you're a Wigan fan. They've been totally outplayed.
They face a fairly torrid time coming up as well, because 8 of their remaining 11 before the split to the Super 8s are away from home, including a magic weekend meeting with Leeds in Newcastle. The DW Stadium pitch will be dug up and sorted out during the soccer closed season, so Wigan will be on the road for much of the remaining 11 games of this first phase. Gregson carries the battle forward. Powell is waiting at dummy half. And can Wigan give their supporters who have stuck with them tonight, give them something to shout about? Well, Gidley will just run that ball over the dead ball line. Goal line drop out.
There's no point in trying to put yourself in front of all the defenders if you just take it over the dead in goal line when you've got a scoreline of 34-4.
And do you know what it says to me, Steve? Well, they're not afraid to defend. Kirk Gidley, he has more than enough time to try and get that ball back into the field of play, but he probably thinks, no, let's have a crack at defending. We're enjoying it tonight.
So Stephen Ratchford with the goal line dropout. Another one that gets over halfway, trapped by Gregson. Burke is on his inside. Here he comes. Oh, Ashton Sims went looking.
Always pulled his hair.
You wouldn't fancy one of them, would you, Eddie? You wouldn't fancy taking one of them carries in.
Well, I thought Greg Burke, having been hit in the tackle from Ashton Sims, I think there may have been a pull of the hair.
I think it's just a lot of hair flying around, Steve-O. Bateman.
Not round this area, isn't it?
Hey, speak for yourself.
Oh yes, Barry.
I've got more than enough.
You have this year.
Yes.
The new look.
The Liberace wing's going down well, I think.
Bubbles, we call him.
Gelling.
Again, good defence.
Powell quickly in at dummy half. Wigan coming forward for a rare occasion. Bateman to the in-goal area, off the post by Bateman. Try for Bateman, I think. Yes, the try is going to be given. Consolation for John Bateman and the Wigan Warriors.
Good individual effort as well from the captain tonight, John Bateman. He knows they've been completely outplayed, but to come up with a try like that, individual brilliance.
Yes, invention from the man who was in the centres during England's test triumph last year against the Kiwis.
Got the nice bounce off the padding, but the idea was there, and he fully deserves this wonderful try. Sneaks over, no doubt about it. Nothing that Gidley could do.
And the extras added a few seconds ago by Matty Smith. Tries in 3 in a row for John Bateman now. Wigan at least into double figures. 34-10, Warrington.
He never gives up, John Bateman. He saved a couple of tries in the first half, and just his commitment and effort just to chase up that ball. There was nothing on, there was nobody really in support of that man, but he takes control of that play to score the try. He is a fabulous talent, Eddie, and quite rightly you said that he played in the centre last year. He did a tremendous job, but his obviously position is in the pack.
As a utility player, he's outstanding, isn't he?
Batley against the Catalan Dragons next Friday, 7:45 on Sky Sports 1. John Keir will be allowing us to hear his half-time team talk. We'll be talking to the boys in commentary, and we'll hear from him on the sideline as well. Next Friday, it's a first for Sky Sports. John Keir's on the mic. next Friday for the Batley Bulldogs against the Catalan Dragons.
Well, if ever there's a coach that can pull off shock, it's one John Keir, isn't it? He's done it so often.
Yes, the miracle man, and he loves the Challenge Cup. Won it with Hull and won it with the Sheffield Eagles. Here come Wigan with Gregson to Smith.
Boy, they've kept him quiet, haven't they? Their defence, they've picked him out. They know he's the key player, Matty Smith.
Gelling now. I'm impressed the way Warrington have kept him quiet, because he has been a star performer for Wigan this year. That's a Nate crossfield kick from Matty Smith, but it's only to Rhys Evans. What a tough night it's been for Evans, and what a game he's had.
Well, he was expecting the kick further back. He was dropped back on the right-hand side. Then he comes forward onto that. You've got to be committed. Whenever there's an on-rushing defender that's coming up in your face, and there's two of you, maybe three of you going for the ball, you've got to make sure that you focus on catching it. That's your first job.
Well, he's been inspirational. He really has.
Outstanding.
Twice it looked like he might have to leave the field injured.
Yep.
He's still out there. 72 minutes we're approaching. Westwood, try with his first touch tonight, Benny Westwood.
There hasn't been a bad player in a Warrington shirt. The bench have come on and made an impact, changed the rhythm of the game, and that fella's controlled everything, Kurt Gidley.
Well, slip and a slide. The touch judge, James Child, is on. I think this is going to be a penalty to Wigan for interference as Rhys Evans went for the ball. It is.
Yeah, he took him out.
Penalty to Warrington, I beg your pardon. Did I say Wigan?
Yeah.
Lewis Tierney just has hold of the shirt of Rhys Evans.
He's quick to tell the touch judge as well. But I'm with you, Eddie. He's been outstanding as Rhys Evans.
He has. He's been brave, hasn't he? All night. Ratchford then. Here's George King. Warrington looking to get it back to a 30-point margin. Oh, Ashton Sims. Well, that was a hit by Ryan Sutton as well.
Come on, put a smile on my face and go for the 1 point.
This is Ben Westwood. He's going for 4.
He's pretty close as well.
We'll play it here to Ratchford. Back it comes to Gidley, and then to Russell. Russell shaped a kick. Difficult man to put down, Matty Russell.
Yeah, he's got super upper body strength, hasn't he? He pumps the legs, but I've been impressed.
He really is.
I'm impressed with the way he chimes into the three-quarter line. Inside pass again from that man, Kurt Gidley.
And George King is held up just short. Ratchford. Here's Gidley, stabs the kick in, fumbles all over the place, and Wigan just survived. He did well in the end, and inevitably it's Bateman to the rescue, but just look at this. Gelling is going nowhere. Gelling has dropped the ball.
Oh, good job. Good job that Powell came in.
Well, he knocked it on Stephen Ratchford. I'm sure when this goes up, they take a look at it. I'm going off the reaction of the player, puts his hands in his head.
Just check whether Ratchford knocks on, please.
Or his head in his hands, one of them.
Could be, yeah.
Either or, Barry.
Where'd you go if you're a Wigan player here? Look at the defenders, goes wide, he opens himself up, makes himself an easy target. Benny Westwood gets involved, Chris Hill, all the heavyweights are there, Curry, Ratchford.
He just couldn't get a hand to it, is a knock on.
I think it'll be a 20-metre restart. Phil Bentham gave the goal line dropout. We're not looking to see whether it's a try, it's just the restart he's looking for. I think Stephen Ratchford's hand certainly comes to it. It's always going backwards off Wigan. Stephen Ratchford tries to score the try there.
Knock on.
And he's knocked on. The crowd sound like they're getting excited, but I think there's a gap between his hand and the ball when it's on the floor.
Well, the crowd's getting excited because the PA system here is playing the music that they normally associate with the video referee for a try, no try.
That's right.
Now, the Warrington fans think he scored.
Well, it could be an interesting decision for the video referee. We've had no indication whether it's a try or no try.
Well, Ben Thaler is taking a long time looking at this. Is that grounded by?
That looks like he's got his fingers on.
Has he got the little finger, the little pinky?
It looks like it's Steve-O.
There's been a few this season.
We've got no try.
They've got no try in the field. Well, he wasn't sent up to look to see whether it was a try, so you can only presume that he's saying it was no try.
Well, he's just gone back now at Phil Bentham behind the line. He said no try.
That's
so
no try.
He's covering his options.
And you know, from that angle as well,
That's no try. And again, I'm going back to Stefan Ratchford's reaction.
Wait.
And all the players,
Should be a 20
they look
turn.
like they're lined.
1 second. We're gonna wait for the
Well,
screen
Phil
now.
Bentham's already signalled it to go like it's a 20-metre restart, which it is.
it's amazing though, the different camera angles, isn't it?
It is. It is.
From one it looks like a try, and another couple looks like it's not a try.
But you're right, Stuart. Phil didn't send that up as a no-try decision.
No, he was just looking for the restart.
How to get the game going again. Yeah. Then he covered his tracks while we were all watching that. Phil made the sign and he gave no try. Yeah.
But hasn't it?
He was caught up with the moment as well, with the music maybe.
Eddie, hasn't it brought something special to our game, though? The video referee. A lot of people would complain about it, but it adds extra excitement as far as I'm concerned.
Of course it does. One of the greatest inventions, no more. And it's been around since day one of the Super League.
There's a scrum here, Eddie, because Julian comes out the line, he makes a play for the ball, he knocks the ball forward. Wigan don't get any advantage. You can see here, they have to get beyond the advantage line. And if he would have done that, well, obviously then it's play on.
And just talking about the video referee as we watch these replays, you know, credit should go to our own Neville Smith and Greg McCallum, who brought it in at the start of the Super League. And it's now part and parcel of the game. And to be fair, as Sky Sports celebrates its 25th year on air in the last week or so, it should also be pointed out that Rugby League has been on Sky Sports every inch of the way. We have played our part in the success story that has been this Sky Sports organisation.
And I think most fans appreciate that, Eddie, that we have played our part. The officials, and of course it was our own Stuart Cummings that made the first square-reel.
Well, I don't know if he made the first square-reel because that was on the side of the
fit
house. Yeah, he might have fitted the first one. Here is Matty Smith.
And it was a large one.
Angle kick from Smith.
Yeah, just get it, throw it away.
And then he flings it into the advertising hoardings. I didn't know you had a ban on a pair of ladders, Stuart, with the first square-reel.
Well, I've done many things in my time.
Well, Steve-O's put 4 dishes up today. He's on overtime.
He's another player that's been very good at the back, Kevin Penny.
They all have, Terry. I think
it's been comprehensive.
It's going to be a difficult choice for you, Steve-O.
It is.
He's one of the most enthusiastic players, Steve-O, I've ever seen play the game.
Yeah. Well, Tony Smith, surely, will admit tonight that that is the best performance he's seen from his side for a long, long time. Both in attack and defence. It's been outstanding.
Well, tactically they've been great as well, and that has to go down to the coach and staff. The players have implemented it. Oh, there you go.
Bad news for Wigan. He knows it. He will be the first also to admit and put his hands up that this has not been a Wigan performance tonight. Everything that has gone wrong, or everything that could have gone wrong, has gone wrong.
Shakes his head, looks at his teammates and says, "I'm sorry."
You don't need telling, do you? You know when you've made a mistake. We saw a look before when Greg Burt made a mistake. When he got up, he was trying to play the ball, then the camera went on him. It's been a difficult night for Wigan.
And it's not that players are incapable of dealing with those things. You look at Willie Icy, he's made 43 tackles. They've been made to work so hard defensively. This Wigan side are exhausted when they get the ball.
Yes, they are. And I'm going to take nothing away from the Warrington performance because it has been magnificent. But look at the numbers on the back of the Wigan jerseys. There are so many frontline players missing for Wigan tonight. And I know the Warrington fans will get on the back and say, well, always making excuses. But it's a fact. It is a fact.
That is a fact, but you play what's in front of you, don't you?
Of course you do, yes, absolutely. You can only do what you've got ahead of you. You can only beat what you've got ahead of you.
And you know, on a positive as well for Wigan, Eddie, some of these youngsters have learnt a harsh lesson in today's game. It'll only do them well in the future.
Sean Wayne will hope so. Gildart scragged to the floor by Jack Hughes.
Well, they've not thrown the towel in. I mean, that was a great effort to get out of their own red zone. You know, a lot of sides I've seen over the years would say, okay, well, we got a hammer in today and the heads go down. They're still trying their damnedest to Wigan.
Oh, dear me, Lee Mossop, that's a forward pass straight to Ashton Sims.
What's going on, Lee Mossop?
Well, he was on the wing, Barry.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, the scattered aces now, I think, there's no question.
He's a much better player. Wigan are obviously a much better team than they're showing here at the moment.
I want the 1 point. He doesn't, but I do.
What on earth would they go for 1 point?
Just to make me happy. What's wrong with that?
I don't think that's on their agenda, making you happy, Steve.
No, I don't think so either.
There's only one person.
No, it's right for 4, and it's Benny Westwood. It's his second try of the match. Never mind 1. Ben Westwood will have 4, and Warrington will get 2 points, and that is the margin that they will be clear of the field tonight. That crowns it. That caps it. And it all came about from a brilliant pass, of all people, by Lee Mossop.
Yeah, dominant display. Lee Mossop found himself on the wing because Josh Charnley was in, trying to pick some problems up there with defence. But Warrington, again, just going at the line, been nicer composed. Benny Westwood, bit of footwork, and yet again, committing 4 defenders.
You look at how many Wigan defenders are all around Benny Westwood. He's a fabulous player, and this is a 5-man barbecue, and nobody's invited. And Ben Westwood, he gets the last points of the night.
I know that gets the last try. I wouldn't put my money against Gidley kicking the goal.
I stand corrected, Eddie. Sorry, the last try of the night.
And it's not Gidley, it's Ratchford.
Stephen Ratchford. So you're both wrong.
Yeah. Well,
I never opened my mouth. Why you got me involved? This has to be one of the all-time efforts that I've seen from a Warrington Wolves. Conditions were wet, a lot of mistakes in the opening 10 minutes, and then the Warrington Wolves just started to rip the Warriors apart.
Ratchford has the final word. 40 points to 10. Gidley has played his full part. So has Ben Westwood with his 2 tries, and Ryan Atkins with his 2 tries in this second half as well. 18-4 they led at the break. 34-10 it was just before Westwood came up with that try, improved by Stephen Ratchford. So 40 points to 10, and well, Warrington march on, and Wigan will lick their wounds. Sean Wayne knows they have players to return, so maybe he won't be quite so downcast as he might usually be. But Warrington, they should be buoyant, because that was a super display from them.
Sean Wayne will be disappointed to lose this game, but the night goes to Warrington right across the board. They've been absolutely brilliant, and the respect that those coaches have for each other is there for all to see. Tony Smith, the coach, who wins the 2 points, but this Warrington side, when the turn-up here, saw the weather, thought, who's the game going to suit? Everyone thought it was going to maybe fall into the hands of Wigan, being the big aggressive side that they are in the middle of the park. But Warrington have shown not only can they match Wigan up front, they can score some fabulous tries in conditions that, well, all you can say was they were torrential conditions before the game.
Yeah, shocking conditions before. We had hailstones, we had wind, we had rain, we have had sunshine, and then as dusk fell, we got a little bit more rain as well. They are delighted, Warrington. They are 2 points clear of the field at the end of this 40 points to 10 victory against the Wigan Warriors. All over then, there's the man of the match. The first utility man of the match, Kurt Gidley with Angela Power.
Nice bit of bubbly there for you, Kurt. Complete performance, that, would you say?
Yeah, I just thought, we did complete well, kick well, and kick takes. That's a big important part of the game, and you've got a strong back through who carry the ball really hard and make plenty of meters, and I just thought we turned them around well, especially during that middle part of the first half. So yeah, really good win, and to keep them to 10 points, pretty good effort.
They really threw it at you in the first 15 minutes, but you took over from there.
Yeah, I just thought tonight, it was about building pressure, trying to complete, and when we come out to warm up and it was all hail on the field, so there was plenty of mistakes in that first 10 minutes. But I thought completing, kicking in behind, we had some really great big defensive sets during that first half, and I thought we started to win the field possession. So really proud of the boys' effort tonight. Great effort by the fans, and good night.
How are you liking this weather? Is it very Australian for you? Nice spring?
Yeah, I mean, I knew what I was coming to, and I've been really enjoying my time here. Just re-signed this week with the club for next year, so really been enjoying my time and my teammates and the fans, so it's been a great experience.
Congratulations. Thank you, Kurt. We've got a 2-try hero here as well. Benny Westwood, first touch of the ball in that first half, you score a try.
Super Savannah. It's one of them things. We've been playing a few games this week, pushing through and that, and luckily Hilly pushed through for me and they held off on him, so it gave me a chance to get over. But glad with it. Don't score many these days.
When you score them, it matters. I mean, the great thing about this from a Warrington perspective is you've done the double over Wigan in a year, and you've not seen many of those, have you?
No, not really. Wigan are a class side. Tonight they had a few youngsters out, but we had a few youngsters in there today. I want to give a special mention to Friendship, Benjamin Julian. I thought he was fantastic tonight, and for a young lad to come over from his own country to a different country and to pursue his dream, it's a real credit to him, and he's getting his just rewards.
Congratulations anyway to you. It was a very good performance for you as well. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much.
We've got the coach now, Tony Smith. Tony, in the commentary box, they were saying that that's probably one of the best performances, if not the performance of the season from Warrington. Would you agree?
Yeah, we're up there. Defensively outstanding, really, really good. I think we kept Wigan inside their 30 on 3 occasions on the trot. That takes some doing, but some of our attack at times are just not quite fluent as we would like, but there was still some good patches there. But I thought we got rewarded for our efforts in defence tonight.
It was important as well, wasn't it, to get one on Wigan here, because they've done it to Warrington on many occasions, but to do the double is important.
Yes and no. We don't. Every year's a new year. We don't worry about getting even or anything along those lines. It's a good, tough game of rugby league and a hard game. It was physical. We lost Tommy Lynham earlier. I've got to say, Wigan are down on some numbers and some important people. We've got a lot of injuries ourselves, but it's some of our backup players or the players who would be coming in for some of our front liners that are injured. The injury toll for Wigan at the moment is enormous. So, I'm not going to be. We're not going to be getting carried away with it. They were down in numbers, and we did the job that I suppose we should do in some respects with the people that they got on the bench.
Thanks very much for that, Tony. Sean, Tony Smith was just saying that you were depleted by injury, and it's bound to tell at some point. I mean, they managed to get it over you this evening.
No, I don't want to talk about that, because Warrington were good. We showed some character in the first 25 minutes, and we lost a bit. We got a bit back. We showed some toughness throughout the game. So no excuses from us. I don't even want to speak about it. They were better than us, and we'll have our day.
Next week, back in the Cup, it gives you a chance to take a break from Super League. Will that help?
Yeah, it's a game. I'm still proud of our efforts. We never give in. We showed lots of signs of toughness. So Dewsbury next, we've got a decent turnaround. We might get some players back. We'll look forward to it. There's some toughness. We showed some toughness today in that first 25 minutes. I thought we had a dig.
Took positives out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm okay.
Thanks for your time, Sean. Cheers.
Yeah, a cup match against Dewsbury coming up for Sean Wayne before they have Hull at home in Super League. Okay, comprehensive victory in the end for the Warrington Wolves. John Wells, your game breaker in that Super League tie.
Yeah, it came in the 47th minute. It was the Ryan Atkins try, but the game breaker was an individual who picked up the Man of the Match award. I'll show you what I mean. It was Kurt Gidley, and it was a set-up play they'd done to the right of the field. They came out after the half-time break. Wigan had to score first at 18 points to 4 down. This put them 20 points clear. You don't see initially from this angle what he's actually done. We know that he's fooled that Wigan defence into dropping into the pocket, anticipating a kick. We found another angle for you. Have a look at this. This is what he does. It's a real exaggerated, definite move. to show that he's going to kick the ball through. And just in the corner of your screen here, you saw the reaction from Matty Smith. He dives out the defensive line and goes in to cover what he thinks is a kick that's coming. Then they've got the wherewithal, the forethought, and the players in the right positions to go through and score. That put them 20 points clear from the 47th minute, Brian. That was game done for me. That was the game-breaking try, and the game breaker within that was your man of the match, Kurt Gidley. He was I thought he was an outstanding individual this evening. He speaks really eloquently about the game as well, and he got it spot on the money. I thought they were very good value for that win tonight, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely good value for that, John. Thanks very much for that game breaker, Ryan Atkins with a double, and Kurt Gidley, you're right, he did dominate that game tonight. Okay, short break coming up. After that, we're going to hear from one of the players we expected to star for Wigan. Didn't happen for him in the end, didn't happen for his side. Cook Island international Anthony Gelling. What a character this man is. Should provide plenty of entertainment.